Hey y'all,
It's Malicia.
I know I needed to get this video out. Like I said before, I've been super busy lately and I was like, I might as well just talk about it now. I see people do car videos all the time and I'm like, actually, that's a good idea. It feels like minimal effort. So I'm gonna try it today. Hopefully the cars that drive by in the back aren't too distracting. But the main point of this video, one, is to say thank you so much for subscribing. If you've subscribed, when we made it to 10K, I told you all who are curious about why I left ET, I said, when we get to 30K, I will let you know. And my mom said, why? Just tell them now. And I was tempted to, but I said, no. There's a reason why I said 30K. And at the end of my story, hopefully you get why I decided to wait. Just a little backstory. Maybe some of you already know this. I'm not sure if I've shared it. I think I started this YouTube channel in 2010 or 11. Never had the courage really to post, but I love deep conversations about life, spirituality, all those things, right? So in comes Entertainment Tonight. I've told my story before, as many of you know. I started working at ET in 2018. During the pandemic, 2020, I had no clue that one interview with Ariella that my manager randomly asked me to do would spark something that would give me hope, would give me clarity, would give me financial stability years later. No clue. And I'm a little emotional right now, y'all. There's a lot going on. But yes, that interview was the start of these recaps. Here we are. What is it? 5 years later. So that being said, maybe around December, January, I started toying with the idea of possibly leaving ET. I was there for 7 years. So much opportunity, so much growth. I'm so grateful for my experience at ET. It's so crazy. When I was at USC in grad school, which was right before I ended up getting hired at ET, I would go into the studio and just practice being on camera. And I would say, this is Entertainment Today. I'm Alicia, mimicking Entertainment Tonight. And just the way it all panned out, I've always prayed to work for the best. And to be amongst the best and to learn from the best. And when it comes to entertainment news, ET is known for being the best. It's an organization that has been around for years and is known for having a classic touch. And I'm really appreciative that I've had the opportunity to learn and to grow in that space and to learn from the best. January, though, I started to get antsy. After 7 years of being there, and knowing that this never was my end goal has always been ownership, media mogul vibes. And it feels vulnerable saying that. I've always been that person. Don't tell everybody what you want to do. Do it first. Do it first and then share. But I think that there is power in claiming it. This is my first time recording in the car, and the sun, the clouds, they're moving. I'm learning to embrace imperfection. The perfectionist in me can get a little antsy about things like that. But back to the story. When I graduated from Howard University undergrad in 2015, I spent the summer at home before going off for an internship. I was really into my just praying, writing down what I want, manifestation. I came across a Wayne Dyer book, Manifest Your Destiny, the 9 Spiritual Principles for Getting Everything You Want. And one day I was laying out in the grass, which is something I do often. I was writing out my dreams, big dreams. I just allowed myself to dream as big as I could. I folded up the piece of paper and I buried them under the tree. Fast forward to February of this year. So that was what, 2015? Yeah. Wow, 10 years later, I'm just connecting that dot. I was standing in front of the tree and I was just praying to God. I'm like, oh, light a fire in me. I want to be excited about life again. I want to be excited about my future again. I just don't feel that. left that alone. I'm a dreamer, not just when it comes to goals, but also I have pretty intense and vivid dreams that I believe have messages because they end up playing out in some way in my life at times. So I'm still learning how to navigate that, but I find them very interesting, and I have so much respect for the dream landscape now. And that being said, I also don't think every dream is worth analyzing too much, but there's a lot of value in taking a look at your dreams. It's your subconscious playing things out in a lot of ways. And as a spiritual person, as a person with my beliefs, I also believe it's a way that God communicates with me. So February said that outside, just speaking out to the universe, to God. Light a fire in me. And I had a dream not too long after that. I was in the kitchen and you could see the tree from the kitchen. Lightning hit the tree and it went all the way to the bottom and came back up, and the tree caught on fire. And I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta put the fire out. I gotta put the fire out, because I didn't want the fire to get on the house and my family was in the house. So I go outside and like trying to put the water out. I put it out, it ignites again. And it wouldn't go out, but it was a contained fire. It wasn't spreading. And I woke up with anxiety, but then I was like, oh my gosh, I prayed for, and I was just so excited. I was like, the fire hit the tree. Yes, the fire hit the tree. Because I take that tree now as like a representation, in my subconscious at least. It represents my dreams. I buried my dreams under there. And so I'm on cloud 9. I'm like, I don't know what this means, but something's happening. So one day in March, I have a dream.
Another one.
That I'm sitting at the base of the tree, and I look over and there is like poop, like doggy poop. And I'm like, I don't have a dog. Where did this poop come from? But then I remember right after that being really happy. Something happened where I just felt really lighthearted and things were good. It gets a little hot in this car. I'm over here sweating, my phone's overheating, but okay. So after I have the poop dream, I wake up, I can tell something's off based on the communication at work. There's not much in our Slack channel. I just could tell something was off. Get to work, walk into the office. Most of my team is gone, and I get the news that I was laid off along with a number of other people. And it was a shock to the system. It is. It's naturally like, whoa. But then the thoughts come in, the gratitude comes in. I was being prepared for this. This would have happened 2 years ago, it probably would have been harder on me mentally. But I always pray for graceful transitions. And I felt like even just me considering leaving for the past 2-3 months, what I've been asking for, what I've been praying for, I felt like I was being, gently led to this moment. And I saw a lot of people freaking out around me. And in that moment, I tried my best to encourage them. Most people that I know from my experience, I'm only speaking from my experience, most people that I know who've gotten laid off, depending on the perspective that they choose to take after the shock settles, they end up being in positions that are better than what they were in previously. Or they end up getting what they truly want. It's just redirection, depending on if you allow it to be. Because when you open your mind up to the possibility that this could be redirection, that clarity can come, that guidance can come. That's what I believe. And that's the perspective I took on for myself personally. There's a little, if I'm to be honest, like really raw, there's a little embarrassment. I don't know if embarrassment's the word, but that feeling of, oh, you don't break up with me, I break up with you, and it's like there's some doubt that tries to come in. If I was so good, or if I was good enough, why was I let go? But things happen. When those feelings come up, to me, I take that as, oh, this is a mirror. This is showing me that personally I have some doubts or some self-worth issues to still work through, because people get let go for all different reasons. And whatever reason, when you don't know the reason and you make a reason up, or you make it more so about you personally, I think that, it will be helpful to look at that and say, okay, I'm thinking it's this. What does that say about how I truly feel about myself? But that aside, I ended up going to talk to someone who was really helpful during my journey at ET. And they reminded me that I'm a rock star. I've done a wonderful job. And they said something specifically. They gave me all the peace in the world. They said, now you can go off and you can do your own thing and just grow. And they said, think of this as a silver lining in a poop cloud. I said, what did you say? Say that again? They were like, well, okay. Think of this as a silver lining in a poop cloud. I was like, you're going to think I'm crazy. And I might sound a little crazy, but I had a dream last night. There's this tree. Mind you, I don't just tell everybody about my dreams. It's honestly pretty vulnerable for me to be sharing this with you now, but I think that a part of my growth at this point is just being more of who I am authentically, and I'm sharing it. You can think I'm woo-woo or whatever. The way I'm approaching life at this point works for me, and it yields results. So I feel good about it. Anyway, I wrote exactly what they said and put it in my phone. I said, okay, this is the confirmation I need. It is a silver lining in a poop cloud. Last night I had a dream. It was literally the night before. I had a dream that at the base of my tree, where I've planted my dreams, there was poop. And it wasn't a lot of poop. It was just like a dog pooped. And then you say that. And they were like, well, there you have it. I left the building with a sense of, okay, this is in divine order. This is how it's supposed to be. That doesn't mean other thoughts didn't come as time went on, like all the hows and all of that. But what was so beautiful is when I got home, two things happened. An editor called me and said, hey, I heard the news. Are you still going to do 90 Day? I said, I want to. I don't want to just leave my audience hanging. He said, I think you should, and I'll help you. I said, what? Okay, I'll call you back. Let me think on it. I'll call you back. After that, I get a call from someone at TLC who I've been working with 90 Day, all the interviews, all of that. She calls me about something totally different. I tell her, and she's like, oh my gosh, are you still going to do the recaps and the interviews? I said, I want to. She said, yeah, we want you to too. And I was like, okay, what's happening? What is happening? I called the editor back immediately. Not even a week later, I was officially the owner of my own production company. Not even a week later. Didn't miss a beat with the recaps. I think it was that next Monday or Tuesday or whatever. There was a recap. And I was filming from home, but there was a recap. I love 90 Day because of the thoughtful conversations we can have. I'm so entertained by the show at times. But the main reason why I enjoy talking about it is it's like a starting point for a larger conversation. So my goal has never been to always talk about 90 Day Fiancé forever either. I started really considering my other goals. One of them, to become a life coach. I thought about going back to school to be a therapist, but there's so much that goes into that. And again, I want to give you your flowers. Those of you who have been so supportive and who have taken time to write out your thoughts and encourage me. As an audience, you have really helped me get clearer and clearer on what it is I truly enjoy doing. You've played a huge role in that clarity for me, so I appreciate you. I decided to wait until it hit 30K subscribers to share this story. For one, it's vulnerable. Let's be real. I don't know anyone who is proud of being laid off until you see how it actually can work for your benefit as time goes on. And aside from it being vulnerable, I wanted to wait until we hit 30K for it to be a more impactful story, in my opinion. I think either way it could have been, but 30K, it not only shows to who's watching what consistency, what belief can do, what going after your dreams, how it can pay off. How when you choose to look at something that can be perceived as negative, when you choose to look at it in a positive way and see the silver lining in it, how it can pay off. Just wanted the story, to land more. And not only just for you, but for me too. This has been a leap of faith. I didn't know we were going to hit 30K. I hoped. I spoke it into existence. It's no little thing to have 30,000 people to say, I like your content. I appreciate your voice. Whatever it is, it's amazing. It's amazing. And So I appreciate you. Now I'm in school to be a life coach. I'm learning so much, but I'm excited for the future and I'm excited for the growth of all of us. I've told you from the beginning, those who followed me before I started doing 90-day recaps on this channel, I want this space to be a place where we all grow together. You see my growth, I see your growth. We share our struggles and, we learn from each other, we support each other. Because with growth comes resistance. It's not always easy. It's rarely easy. Let's be real. And to have a community where the fact that it's not easy isn't something that's shied away from. It's talked about and tools are shared and love is shared and perspectives are shared to help us along the journey so we actually benefit and see results that are lasting. I think it's so beautiful and necessary. And there are many communities on YouTube that I'm also a part of too. And I'm grateful that you've chosen to be a part of this one. And you've done such a beautiful job cultivating the space in the comment section. For the most part, it's pretty positive. You're funny. You have your own thought-provoking views, and how you encourage and uplift each other is gorgeous. You're really a beautiful group of people, and I'm glad you're here. We're going to continue to grow together. Also, as I'm getting more into my life coaching bag, let me know any topics you would like for me to cover outside of 90 Day. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. Before I go, I just want to say this, the elephant in the room. I know there's a lot going on in the world. Something I've landed on is that the best thing I can do is to be light in my own life, to be loving, to be more intentional with my goals, my health, my well-being, to value life more. And that has ripple effects. And there are, of course, other things we can do to work toward a more unified world. I'm starting there personally. And sometimes when you don't know what to do, or when you feel overwhelmed, start with yourself. Thank you guys for listening to the story. It's out there. I know some of you are probably like, okay, that's it. Yes, that's it. To me, it's a beautiful story. It just builds my trust in the process and God more. And I hope for many of you that it brings some comfort, because this whole life experience at 31, I am learning. It is nuanced. It is complex. There are ups and downs, ebbs and flows, and I guess the whole point is to become okay with that and to respect each moment for what it is, and to take the silver lining or the gold or the lessons from whatever the moment is. Sometimes it's just to be in moments as well. It's just learning how to flow with life. It's easier said than done with everything going on in the world right now, but it's important for us to keep hope alive, right? To keep the faith. I also don't want us to lose sight of the awakenings that are happening as well. The heart expansions that are happening. And what I mean by that is, as these things that shake up the world happen, we can focus on the negative ripple effect. I also think it's just as important to know and to accept that there's also a positive ripple effect. For the first time yesterday, I've never felt this before, but I was sitting outside and I saw a bird fly by. And I am that person that I acknowledge the animals. But for the first time, I felt an odd responsibility for the bird of, oh, we gotta take care of you. We gotta take care of this earth. I've been conscious about certain things, but that was the first time where I felt a sense of duty for the bird. And that sounds simple, but it showed me that the chaos that has happened or that's been happening, it's expanding my capacity to love. I'm sitting here telling a bird, I gotta take care of you. Oh, we gotta make sure you're good. It just showed like my level of compassion and empathy expanded. All that to say, while social media, to be on it nowadays, to constantly see the negativity can make us believe that there's not much positive change happening. I just saw a dragonfly. There's also positive change happening in people's hearts, and that matters. I'll always try my best to be a positive light for you. For some people, that might get annoying. I think I'm a realist as well, but I'm also a believer in the good and light. Light is more powerful than darkness. Light casts out darkness, meaning awareness, truth, hope, love, joy simply makes fear less powerful. It makes confusion, ignorance, and pain less powerful. All right, well, thank you guys for listening. I love you lots. I'm glad you're on the journey with me. All right, see you later.